Andy McDermott. I played Mitch Rapp in this short film and was, I guess, one of the creators or founders of the idea, along with Paul Denegris, my friend, director.
I just really enjoy working with Andy, and so he sent me a note in September, and he said, "Hey, I got a crazy idea for a project. Let me know if you got some time to talk about it." I said, "Sure, let me hear it."
I'm a huge Mitch Rapp fan. The Vince Flynn books, I've read every one. The character Mitch Rapp is a dream role. They decided to finally make one of these films called American Assassin. They cast Dylan O'Brien, a young kid, to play Mitch Rapp, which, you know, he's very popular. I think he's a good actor. Hopefully he does great in it, but to a lot of us fans, it was not really the idea of the perfect Mitch Rapp. I just had this idea, like, why don't we make a fan film, a tribute to Vince Flynn, kind of come up with our own story based on the characters in Vince Flynn's books. And before we knew it, there was 50 people involved in this project, and everybody just coming together to do their best to make a real good tribute fan film.
Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. My name is Rio McDowell, secret agent. Second assistant director on Mitch Rapp. We're filming a really cool action movie here, guys. Shh, keep it on the DL. There's gonna be lots of explosions, Michael Bay stuff, you know. Lots of teeth pulling, nitty gritty stuff. Ain't for children. Oh, wait. I'm being called back on set, guys. Better get to it.
You know, it's interesting because I never heard of Mitch Rapp before. And then after Paul Denegris said, "Hey, there's a project I want you to work on," I went home and looked at it and saw this huge amount of information on Mitch Rapp and all the novels with Vince Flynn. And so what I did is I actually got American Assassin and started reading it and did a whole bunch of online research for Mitch Rapp. So I think this film is pretty indicative of what the stories are about.
Obviously, we're going to take some latitude to do what we need to do in a short form to convey what we're trying to do with the short film. But it's pretty close. We were very conscious of the fact that the Rapp fans are real rabid fans. They're serious. They know what he can do, where he's been, what he's like. Although he's ambidextrous in the books, he's first and foremost left-handed. We were conscious of that fact. So yeah, we tried to portray the character as close to the books as possible, and then, you know, within the framework of what we wanted to achieve, obviously we took some liberties.
Damon Baker. I play a role of taking hits and giving some. I die.
I'm Wayne Lundy. I'm one of the goons, and I give a few swings at Mitch, and I get taken out with a couple of knife stabs.
I'm Ben Edwards, and I'm also one of the goons and stuntmen, and I have a pretty good time here.
I mean, I've worked before with Paul on Toppled, with him directing. He's great, super easygoing. I like to improvise a lot in terms of cinematography, like figuring things out, kind of adjusting lights as we go, and he was totally open to that idea, especially with a lot of the action scenes, which require a lot of choreographing and kind of movement around the action. So that was really fun. Mike Myers, who I worked with, was great as well. So him kind of directing both of us together, I think we achieved something really cool that I don't think many people expect with the budget that we had in terms of just an indie production. I think it feels like something that's like a Hollywood movie or what we were aiming for.
Doing makeup in real time during the fight scene. It's gonna be awesome.
I was the key grip on Mitch Rapp. Basically, I went in before everybody else with all the electric crew, and we rigged lights and we got that all set up so that we could have the scene set up before the actors got there, and it made the process run a lot smoother.
My favorite moment was actually a few days before we started shooting when we were testing the torture rig. Got to tie up director Paul Denegris to test it out and hold him hostage for our grades, and that's why I've got an A now.
My first time being on a real set was very intimidating because of how long the hours were, but you were constantly moving the whole time, so it was all good, went by really fast. But we were all super tired by the end of it.
Editing Mitch Rapp is extremely different than anything that I've edited before. I've never really edited a true action film, and editing it is extremely difficult. There's so many different takes, and there's so many different ways to edit it. It's a lot of fast cutting, so it gets pieced together very slowly, and we were running 2 cameras at once at least at all times. So when you look at a take, there's 2 sets of footage for that, and there's 5 takes for each shot, and with the fast cutting, we have to go back and forth consistently, and it's extremely different than anything that I've edited before.
It's very time consuming, very difficult to get the right pacing, but it's a lot of fun.
I will say I've never been more on my feet than ever before, because having to do lighting, it was whatever the cameraman needed, I would always ask, hey, Jordan, do you need this? Do you need that? Where does this light need to go? Everything's set up, Jordan, everything's good. We did a pre-light, and so during the pre-light, we managed to get all the lights however they needed to be before set actually went and rolled. So everything was done right off the bat or beforehand, and so we had very little issues with, oh, maybe this light needs to be here or not, or where did these go?
This filming experience compared to other sets was way more intense. I mean, we had stunt crew, we had 50 people, we had, oh man, I can't even fathom like all the different minute details that just made this one so much different. Just, like I said, the stunt crew adds a whole other layer of depth, and the intense choreography, everything about it just made it a more intense filming experience that I've ever had, and it was a lot of fun to see all that take place.
I think my favorite moment on set was really watching all of the stuntmen, coordinate the stunt choreography, watching them fight as if it was a real fight going on. I mean, obviously nobody really got hurt. We had a few bloody elbows and all that, but really watching a professional stunt team was so interesting, and it made the whole experience just more enjoyable.
You know, this film had a pretty significant pre-production cycle, because not in terms of time, we had very little time. We were really trying to compress a major pre-production cycle into a very, very short amount of time. So I kept using the phrase, I'm producing my ass off on this movie. Because it really felt like it. It felt like I had never worked this hard as a producer, at least not in a very long time. One of the biggest challenges was finding the right locations, and we scouted different locations. We had one that we thought was locked in, and then that didn't work, and then we had a backup one, and that didn't work, and we finally ended up at the Barrister Building in downtown Phoenix.
My favorite moment on the set was helping Jordan, making sure he was set with the lenses and whatever was required for the shoot that was coming up.
I've been a martial artist for a long time, so physically I was prepared. But you break it down just like you do any other scene into its elemental parts. First you go through the gross motor movements, you decide what's going to look good, what the character would do, how that character would fight. Dragovich, my character, was kind of a weasel, so he's going to be trying to stab you from behind, trying to sneak up on you.
Standing. Yeah, you can go down your knees for the wrist. Yeah. Well, let me see the position when the actual breakdown. So the wrist is already broken, knife is already out.
You'll have to kind of hold the knife in.
No, knife's already out.
Yeah, so I think you should get over here, man.
Patrick, can you go over here? I need you to adjust your sensitivity.
Adjust my sensitivity.
Let's keep talking.
That's a terrible thing to do to an actor. Can I tell you that right now?
So, what's your role in this?
I play a sensitive and compassionate, not so sensitive anymore because they've adjusted my sensitivity. But every bit as compassionate as anybody you've ever met in terms of bosses, you know.
Hey, it was a good time to come out and support a friend, and I think it's going to be an excellent movie. And I can't wait to see myself on the big screen. Or small.
I think it's great that everybody came together because of the love for the books, the people, everybody involved, and we're all here meeting each other and are very excited to see the finished product. It's going to be great.
Great environment, everybody was professional, and just worked together very well today to get the project done. So
very fluid, and especially the student staff. They were all very professional.
To try to transfer the action from the way it is in the book to the film, was a challenging concept. What I did is I actually approached it from an interesting perspective that most stunt coordinators and directors don't approach it from. What I did is I took the script and the situation and I imagined what it would be like if I was Mitch Rapp. I've been trained in teaching law enforcement, military, and special operations worldwide, so I have a tremendous skill set with that I've worked on over the years. And so I looked at it from a realistic perspective and said, okay, if you're going into this situation and these many people attack you with this type of thing, how are you going to react and how are you going to, for real. And then we ended up taking that reality as I was working with the stuntmen and turning it into something that was, I'd have to call it theatrical reality. I embellished what would be a real fight with these people with firearms and knives and guns and turned it into something that could be more stylized for the screen.
It starts out a little rough but fun, learn some basics about reactions and then get into a lot more detailed stuff as things move and completely switch it up as the story needs to be on set.
Right, the key is to make like Andy, the character of Mitch, look as the best we can make him look. So learning how to carry our weapons properly and to fall properly is very key.
I'm also a huge Marvel fanatic, and anybody who knows me knows I go crazy for the Marvel movies and Marvel TV shows. When Daredevil hit Netflix, I ate that up, man. The martial arts they do for that show, particularly whenever it's Daredevil versus, a dozen guys in a hallway, love that stuff. So I said to Briscoe and I said to Andy, if we're gonna do this, I want this to be our Marvel audition. I want this to be the thing that makes people go, oh, okay, these guys can play in that kind of universe, that echelon of production. So we said, let's do a hallway fight that rivals Daredevil.
My favorite moment on set was when one of the stuntmen were being interviewed by Beaver, and me and Luis were dancing right behind him.
Oh man, to prepare for the fight scenes, it's funny. I'm always into fitness and do some cheesy Zoolander modeling and stuff in LA. So I kind of always have to look a certain way. It's always easier to stay ready than be ready. And the first time I went to do any kind of like turning kicks or jumping kicks, things were kind of tight, and I was like, is that good? Did I hit him in the face? And I was working out with my buddy. I was like, how about this one? Did I get him? And then he's like, yeah, you got him right in the ankle. I was like, how about this one? He's laughing that my kicks are about this high, so I had to really get my flexibility going and had to kind of practice just kind of a crash course in getting flexibility back and getting some technique back. But it was fun during the actual filming because how often do you actually get to do that stuff with real stunt guys flying at you from all different directions? So that was a blast.
Great.
My favorite moment on set is when I was told I was going to be second assistant cameraman. I was really excited. I thought it was a huge role. I was real scared to be thrown in that position. I try to tell myself the best way to learn something is to be thrown into it. And I got a chance to assist Jordan switching out lenses and stuff like that. Paul let me actually, shoot the final shot that we did at the school, so that was exciting. I mean, it's really hard to mess up because it was just a still shot, but it was still a great thing. Paul was okay with me being behind camera on such an important project. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm doing my job right and just being there and throwing myself out there and things like that.
This movie was harder than I expected in terms of everything on the pre-production side, everything to get it in motion. I really have a newfound respect for action filmmakers, for people who do this as a steady diet, okay? Particularly for big franchises, for your diehards and your Marvel movies and your Transformers movies. Those teams, they must work their asses off, and that's why those movies have armies of people that make them and cost millions of dollars, because action filmmaking is freaking hard. It's hard leading up to it, it's hard on the day, and then it's hard in post, just getting all the little pieces to fit together and make sure that the action makes sense and it's got energy, it feels connected, and it feels like guys are actually hitting each other, and the hits feel solid, and the action feels comprehensible, knowing when to go in for a close shot for intensity or go out to a wide shot to be able to understand the action. Cutting action is like a completely new film language. It's completely different than just cutting dialogue. mention that there's something serious we need to talk about.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah. It's Ben's birthday.
Working with James Morrison, Andy McDermott, Iman Saman, Steve Briscoe, Rich Ryan, and the stunt crew as a whole was freaking awesome. I mean, going from the slow State Department scene that builds up to all the action to the sudden, intense, gritty torture stuff, and then all of a sudden to the awesome action-packed adventure of them traveling up to the rooftop and then the final climactic fight. All of it was just, it was like I was in Hollywood seeing these huge professional actors, you know, doing the best that they can.
I didn't expect how hard it was going to be and how exhausting the shoot would be. There was a point when we were on the roof on the second day, and we ended up going, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours over on the second day. There was a point when we were on the roof and I was just like, I'm so tired, I'm having an out-of-body experience. I felt like my aura was just drifting out of my physical shell because my body was so tired that it couldn't hold on to it anymore. And it was just like, I don't even know. I got in the car and I drove home and I laid in bed and I just went, I don't even know what we shot. I hope it turns out. Because I literally couldn't remember a single shot that we had shot on the roof. I was that tired.
I'd have to say my favorite moment on set was probably when at the end we're on the rooftop, we were shooting a shot of Andy and Iman. We're kind of doing a long take and it was getting more cathartic because we're towards the end of the shoot and almost finished. And Paul ducks into frame and then there's kind of a big family moment where they all hug each other and then Paul gets his head snapped and it's all fun and violent and cool. But it was really nice just to see like the kind of the family that had been built up over just the 2 days that we shot. We were already so close, I guess, as a production team.
It was a big love fest at the end. Like everybody, I think, had a great time, and I think all my students that were on the shoot had a great time. A number of the people who were new to a UAT set commented. They said, I can't believe these guys are all students. I can't believe that this is not a professional crew. And two, the comment was, this isn't just a crew, this is like a family. You guys are such an amazing team, and this is just such an amazing group of people that you have around you. And I said, yeah, they're my students. They're pretty damn awesome. I'm pretty lucky, you know. It was a hard movie to make, but this was the right team to make it.